What's up, Dream Warriors? Welcome back to another episode of a podcast on Elm Street. I'm Mark.
And I'm Brooke.
And this is our first episode of May. And we're going way back, like way back.
The furthest we've gone.
Yeah, like we can't go back any further. We're going back like millions and millions of years for this month. But yeah, so if you listen to our last episode, we kind of discussed it a little bit. We're both big Jurassic Park fans, and we have Dominion coming out in June. So in order to honor that coming out, we are dedicating this entire month of May to prehistoric horror, I guess, if you want to call it that. Kicking it off, we are going to be talking about the lowest of low budget movies of all time. The VelociPastor from 2018.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
This movie caught some waves over the past couple of years, and I don't know if I'd consider it a popular movie, but I mean, people do watch it and talk about it here and there. We see it.
Just wait till we get to the reviews, man.
we do see it every once in a while pop up. But yeah, it is an insane movie, and I'm so excited to talk about it. This was a first watch for me.
It's a second watch for me, unfortunately, but yeah.
But yeah, before we talk about that, what have you been up to this week?
So this week, I feel like I haven't been up to very much. I actually started the TV show that you recommended or told me about. I didn't recommend it because you haven't watched it yet, but Dr. Brain.
Oh, nice. How is it?
So I watched the first 2 episodes. It's good. I like it so far. It's a very interesting concept, and the way they do it is like very smart. And then in like episode 2, they do something, and then you're like, okay. And then something happens with that, and you're like, oh my God, as if they went there. It's just like cheesy, like 80s, 90s, like horror thing that would happen in like those kinds of movies where you're like, that's so dumb, but it's hilarious.
All right.
Yeah.
So I should check it out then.
Yeah. I'd say it's like more like a thriller kind of investigative thing, but I like it so far.
Cool. Where's it streaming again? I remember
Apple TV.
Right.
Yeah. As for movies I've watched, let me see. I haven't watched too much. So I just discovered that there's a movie rental store, like literally 2-minute drive from my house. So I went in there, and they have the Criterion collection, and the one that caught my eye was Straw Dogs from 1971, I think.
Yeah.
With what's his name? Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I've always wanted to watch it because I didn't mind the like remake of it. I thought it was pretty decent. The OG one, it's okay. Like, it's very boring.
Okay.
Like, much with like the remake, the good stuff doesn't really happen until like the last like 20 minutes when he starts like killing the intruders and stuff like that. But because like this is like one of like, well, back then was one of the most like violent movies people have ever seen. Like, it overstepped boundaries and stuff. And like watching it today, it's like that's nothing. Like, I was kind of going into it expecting like, man, this movie was banned in some countries. I was like, this is going to be nuts, but it really wasn't that crazy at all.
Pretty tame.
Yeah.
50 years later.
To today's standards, yeah. but I could see why it would be kind of looked down on back in the day. And then I watched a movie that you watched last week on Shudder, or I guess the week before. Intruder.
Oh, nice. Did you like it?
Shudder. I did. I really liked it. The start of it, like whenever they were kind of introducing all the characters and then you meet like the boyfriend, I was like, this is the dumbest shit. Like, why did Mark love this so much? And then once it starts getting into like the kills and stuff, I was like, this is wild.
Yeah, some of those kills were super creative. Like, we need more grocery store horror.
Yeah, some of them were fucking brutal. And I don't, it wasn't made by Sam Raimi, but it was like kind of written by him, I think, or he had parts in. I know he was acting in it.
Yeah.
And then same with Bruce Campbell, he made an appearance in it as well.
Yes, that's great.
But I ended up liking it a lot, actually.
Nice.
Yeah. And lastly, the other movie I rented was Critters. Because I bought on Apple TV this like kind of cult horror movie pack. And Critters 2 was in those movies. So figured I'd watch the first one before I watch the second one. So
nice.
I watched that. It was pretty good. It was like kind of it was more sci-fi than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It was more like comedic, kind of like Gremlins-ish kind of.
Yeah.
But that was all right.
Is Leo in that one, or is he's in one of the sequels, I think.
Oh, he must be in one of the sequels.
Critters 3, maybe?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. Like that was
the first Critters came out in like 96. So how old was Leo?
Maybe I swear he's in one of them.
Oh, wait, that was 1986. So yeah, okay, maybe you're right then. He's definitely not in the first one.
He was just a kid. I know that.
Oh, Critters 3, I think.
Yeah, it is 3 in 91.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Even Slash and Captain gave Critters 3 a 1 star. So it must be real bad.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it. Had a busy week and busy weekend. So
yeah, we've barely talked all fucking weekend. I'm starting to think you were quitting the podcast or something.
No, man, we went to my girlfriend's friends on Friday night and we played board games and we ended up staying till like 2 o'clock, 2:30, and then slept in till like 1:30 the next day. That never happens. I've never slept in that late in a long time.
Yeah, you're usually up really early.
Yeah. So Saturday was kind of a waste, but
yeah. Oh well.
What'd you get up to?
Not a whole lot, man. I watched a movie called Slaughterhouse from 1987. Okay. I was just browsing through Tubi one night and I kind of came across that and I liked the cover of it, so I figured I'd give it a shot. It was okay. Nothing great, but it was fun enough. And I finally watched Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
It's on Prime now, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to watch it too, even though it hasn't had the greatest reviews, but
it was fun. I mean, it was a lot like the first one. Like there was a lot of like, I think I texted you. I was like, fuck, I think like Venom is so funny, I think. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I understand why people probably wouldn't, but
yeah,
I think it's good. Nice. And there's that post-credit scene too that like has me very excited.
Okay.
Yeah. So make sure you stick around for that at the end. And it's short for like a Marvel movie. I think it was only like an hour and 37 minutes. So
that's not bad.
Yeah, it was kind of a nice change for Marvel. Like I was expecting to be sitting there for like 2.5 hours, but yeah, it was actually like a normal runtime.
Nice.
Other than that, yeah, man, I haven't done too much. I live streamed some Resident Evil Biohazard last night. Had a good turnout. Chat was popping off.
Yeah, I didn't make it in because I had to go pick up Bettina, and then I got home and we started watching the John Wayne Gacy like tapes.
Oh yeah, how's that?
It's good. It's really good. So we had like 20 minutes left, so we finished it. Then we just like passed out at like 10:30, 11 o'clock. So
Jesus.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the first episode was good.
Yeah.
It's kind of like creepy because like it has him talking and like it kind of makes me want to go back and watch like what's that Netflix show?
Mindhunter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mindhunter, yeah.
That's a good show.
Yeah, it is.
So is it kind of like the Bundy tapes where it's like interviews and like actual clips and shit like that?
Yeah.
Damn, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And like they do a kind of like look like redrawing of like his house. And the dude just had like the creepiest like clown pictures just like all through his house. Yeah, it was fucking creepy.
Wow. Yeah. I want to maybe I'll check it out tonight after we're done here. I've always had like, I don't want to say I've always had a thing for Gacy, but like I've always found his case to be interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, he is a big part of the reason why like I was like grew up being not deathly afraid of clowns, but like found them super creepy because like, I don't know, man, there's just something about them, like a grown ass man dressing up in face paint to entertain children. I don't know. There's just something creepy about it. And once I started to learn about like him, I was like, okay, this is solidifying my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm still watching The Office and that's pretty much it. I still need to continue on with Severance. I haven't been watching that at all. This week kind of flew by. I got back to work on Wednesday morning, started a new job on Wednesday morning. So the rest of the week was kind of just like a wash.
Yeah.
Just like mentally exhausted from like learning everything and all this stuff. So yeah, just kind of been chilling, but get back into the swing of things next week.
Yes, sir.
All right. Are we ready to talk about this movie?
Yes, sir.
All right, like we said in the intro this week, we are talking about 2018's VelociPastor. Before we dive into it, what are you drinking, bro?
I am drinking it's not new to the podcast, but it's a Whitewater Brewing Company Blood Orange Sour. And I know that we both love this one. So.
You're speaking my language. Yeah.
We got another box from Dominion. So I'm kind of trying to get rid of the ones I bought like 2 days before. What are you drinking?
I'm also making my way through that Dominion box.
Ooh.
I'm drinking their Darkest Hour Dark Lager. 5%. Nice. I've been kind of holding off on this one because I have to be in the mood for a dark beer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not in the mood for a dark beer tonight. It's all right. It's not super strong. It's only 5%, but
yeah,
it's got that harsh taste to it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Ooh,
you'll get through it.
Yeah, I'll get through it. It's only a short can. All right, starting off with the synopsis. After losing his parents, a priest travels to China, where he inherits a mysterious ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur. At first horrified by this new power, a hooker convinces him to use it to fight crime and ninjas.
Yeah, it does.
If that synopsis alone doesn't make you want to run and watch this movie, hopefully this episode will.
Yeah. I mean, like, he didn't travel to China. Like, that wasn't his like destination.
No.
He was just told to travel where God didn't follow, and he just walked as far east as he got, and it's just like, so China is in the east.
Oh man. This movie has so many good lines in it.
Oh my God, it's great. It's great.
It was directed by Brendan Steer. He's directed a movie called Animosity and just a whole bunch of short films.
Which a couple people from this cast is in that movie too.
Yes, yeah. VelociPastor is the last thing that he has directed. So since 2018, he hasn't done anything else.
Yeah, he does have a couple things coming up. There's one called Outback Dracula.
Yeah.
Which has a lot of this cast in it as well. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, whatever that is.
That movie that you sent me the trailer for earlier today, where the hell did you find that?
It's on Doug Jones's acting list.
Oh, okay. I thought the guy in the movie looked familiar.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, speaking of Doug Jones, going to the cast list, we have Greg Cohen, who plays Doug Jones, or the VelociPastor. He was in A Little Water and single episodes of NCIS Los Angeles, Blue Bloods, Dynasty, The Blacklist, and the list goes on and on. Just like one-off episodes. He played like a cop or like a bystander or something like that. Like never any big parts.
No. And the trailer that you're talking about, he's in a short movie that's apparently coming out. I don't know when, but it's called The Legend of Long Ball Larry and Short Dick Daryl. And did you read the synopsis on it?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God. Let me get it branded up here.
All right.
So, Long Ball Larry, with his 30-foot nutsack that he uses to lasso at the bad guys, and Short Dick Daryl with his 2-inch chode, have to capture the villainous Dick Chopman, wanted for cutting off the dicks of every man in El Paso.
Oh my God. We have to watch it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Based off that alone, sounds like a fun time.
Yeah.
All right, back to this cast list. Next up is Alyssa Kempinski, who played Carol. She's also in Animosity, which was directed by Brendan Steer. Alpha Girls, Heart of the Beast, and King of Knives. I forgot to preface this. I only have 3 characters for the acting.
Yeah, that's all I had to.
Yeah. Lastly, I have Daniel Steer, who plays Father Stewart, and this is his only real credit. And I put possibly Brendan Steer's dad.
That's what I put too, yeah.
There was
his
like
dad or uncle or something.
Yeah, there was no information. He didn't have like a bio on IMDb or anything like that, but they have the same last name, so I mean we can assume.
Yeah.
This movie, it started off as a like a film school project for Brendan Steer. He did like a trailer and it went viral on the internet. And I guess he made a full-length movie out of it.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I feel like it's kind of like a Kung Fury sort of thing.
Yeah, except with a much smaller budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think this one was like 35 to 45,000.
Yeah, I saw that too. And I saw somewhere else too, there was a $36,000 budget. So obviously that falls within the range, but like that's the lower end of that range.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Did you have anybody else for the cast list, or?
I did not. No,
that was it. Okay.
No.
All right, man. Let's talk about this fucking movie.
All right. This I think is one of those like cult movies that I think just people like fall in love with. I think even just because of like social media, like. I've seen it pop up on TikTok a couple times of people just like watching it and like having their reactions and like they're just can't stop laughing and like it's so ridiculous. So like I think this movie is going to even gain more popularity, I think, like in the years to come, I think.
I mean, especially after we talk about it, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
This is it's a perfect watch party movie though.
Yeah.
Like I talk about it in my review. Like it's a great movie to like, if you're drinking with your friends or if you're smoking or anything like that, just like toss this on and laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
It's a great movie for that.
Yeah. I kind of put in the same range as like Sharknado.
Yeah. Yeah. Even like Taming the T-Rex.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that was a bit higher of a budget, but I mean, it's still a terrible dinosaur movie.
Yeah, and like this movie, like you can tell that this is what they're going for. Like,
oh, absolutely.
The actors, like, yeah, they're not great, but I think that's what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm,
like sure. They're just playing into it. Like, the actor from this duetted one of the guys' like reactions on TikTok.
Oh, really?
And then Greg Cohen, like in character, was like, "Hey, it's my mom and dad," like during that scene, and then he just starts like crying.
That's amazing.
So like, I think they're just totally like milking this whole thing.
Oh yeah. I feel like they probably had so much fun making this and just like sitting down and being like, how can we make this as ridiculous as possible? Because like you mentioned his mom and dad, like there's a scene, well, we already know that his parents die. But like their death scene is like, I literally laughed out loud.
Yeah.
The car blows up, and instead of showing like any sort of effects or anything like that, text comes up on the screen and it says VFX. I was like, oh yeah. My god,
VFX, car on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't see the car, you don't see the parents there anymore. It's just that
there's nothing there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I laughed so hard too. And then like it opens up and it says like, this movie is rated X. Then it's like by an all Christian jury. So yeah, Doug is a priest who went to priest college. I don't think that's a real thing, but
I don't know. I don't know if it is or not.
But yeah, I love the opening scene when he like sees his parents. He like comes out of the church and he's like, the camera and like the movement, like the music, he just like waves across the street, like, "Oh, hi mom, hi dad."
Yeah.
And then it's back to him and just like hear like a big explosion. And then he's just like crying and in shock. And he goes back into the church. I guess he doesn't like bury his parents or any of that, you know. Mm-hmm. And Father Stewart is here, who apart from Doug, maybe like my favorite character in this.
Yeah.
Just like the delivery of his lines and stuff, like especially this one when he's like, here, Doug, have some more wine. And Doug's going on about, it's like, why would God do this? And then like, as calm as can be, Father Stewart's just like, that's parents die. That's just what they do, or something like that. It's what parents do, Doug. They die on you.
Yeah, I have the quote list on IMDb pulled up. Okay. Just because like there was so many of them that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
That was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more later on, but yeah, that was definitely one.
So then Father Stewart tells him like, maybe you should travel. And he's like, where do I travel to? And he's basically going on about like travel where God doesn't follow you or something like that. Yeah. So the opening like credits, it just shows Doug driving a car. And then he's like walking through the woods and it just says in big bold letters, China.
Looks nothing like China. Like you wouldn't be able to tell if it didn't have this like title card.
And then he says like he like bends down and picks something up. He's like, I guess China is Far East or something that's stupid like that. And then like some lady comes, she's getting chased by ninjas. Mm-hmm. She gets shot with a bow and arrow. She's bleeding, and Doug is like, "Are you okay?
Are you okay?" She's got an arrow sticking out of her chest.
Yeah, and so she hands him this dinosaur tooth, and then he ends up cutting himself, and then just like wakes up back at the church, like nothing happened. It's like, how did you get back there?
Yeah.
And Father Stewart's like, "Oh, was it a dream again?"
Yeah, so like, do you think some time has passed since like that encounter with the woman to like whenever he wakes up.
Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah.
It must have been him like dreaming of that happening.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Yeah. But you could definitely tell that they made this whole movie just in this big like woods. Like this big forest.
Yeah.
Like just all the same.
Mm-hmm. I want to know how long it took them to make it.
I'd say probably like, I don't know, 3 days, 4 days max to shoot it.
You think that's short?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It's not a long movie either.
No, it's like an hour, 10 minutes or something.
It's not like they had like a big editing process.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure everything was just like one shot. Okay, yeah, we're going to use that. Toss it in.
Probably one of my favorite characters in this movie is Frankie Mermaid.
Oh my God.
Who is Carol's pimp.
Yeah.
And he had some of the best lines.
Oh fuck my God.
Do you want to tell the people why they call him Frankie Mermaid?
I missed that.
Okay,
so you're going to have to tell me that.
It's because he's swimming in bitches.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So like Carol is a prostitute and Frankie's the pimp, and they like have an encounter with him. He has like this ridiculous hat on. He's balding.
Yeah.
And like, he's just this ridiculous pimp who like kills people. And he's like, tells Carol like, oh, you got to work in the park because that's where I get all my money from. And then like he stopped and yells across the street at another prostitute. And I think I got the quote right, but if you have it, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay, yeah.
Yo, Cherry, if you stuff dicks in your mouth like you're doing that sandwich, I'd be a fucking millionaire by now.
Oh my God, I died laughing at that. It's so fucking funny.
I wish he was in this movie longer.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, then it's like the first night. I don't know if like Doug transforms whenever like a full moon comes, or like what like happens to him.
Yeah, they didn't really explain that. Or if it's just like if he gets angry.
Yeah, maybe. So Carol is out working the park, and then some robber comes up and is about to rob her, and she's like, oh, I don't have the money, like I give it to the pimp. And then she's like, oh, he's gonna kill you or something. And the robber says like, oh, that makes two of us or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Doug comes out as the raptor. And like the first time I saw this, I was like, are you serious? Like it's like one of those inflatable like dino suits, kind of like the T-Rex ones.
Yeah.
But like you can see the person's head on the inside of it.
He's standing straight up.
Yeah.
There's like this big hump on it, and then the dinosaur's head's like down here.
Yeah. And like you can see the hole in the bottom of the suit where he has to put it on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
I was not expecting this costume for the dinosaur.
No.
Because like the cover, like it looks like an actual raptor. So I thought like it was going to be like an animatronic raptor or something like that. I didn't know that the budget was this low. But yeah, it doesn't even look like a raptor. It's like a small T-Rex is what it looks like.
Yeah. It's a giant hump on its back.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so ridiculous. So he ends up killing the robber, and then like Carol is there like covered in blood. And all of a sudden you see like this mannequin head go flying by Carol. It's so good.
This is how like you absolutely cannot take this movie seriously. And that's why it's such a fun movie, because like there's bad movies out there that think that they're good. Yeah. This movie knows it's terrible.
Yeah.
And the first instance is that fucking dinosaur costume. The second one is that mannequin head. Like they don't even try to hide the fact that it's a mannequin
especially
head.
The second mannequin head we see later on. That shit was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, they aren't going for like, they're not trying to be a good movie, like you said. They're just having fun with it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, he saves Carol, and then he wakes up in the morning, and you find out they slept together. Do you think that they slept together as humans, or was he still a dino?
Ooh.
Because she kind of hints at it, because like they have this convo where at one point she's like, have you ever done that before?
Yeah.
And then he's like, no. Have you? And then I think he doesn't know that she's a hooker, but she doesn't know that. So I think that what she was saying she's never done before is have sex with a dinosaur.
Yeah. So I have the quote here. Surprisingly, this is part of their quotes. Yeah, so she talks about how it was amazing. It was his first time. She goes, honestly, it all happened so quickly. I was very scared. I think I even peed myself. Doug said, oh, was it your first time too? Yeah. As I said, I'm a priest, so we can never say. She goes, wait, what are you talking about? He goes, what are you talking about? She goes, that time you turned into a dinosaur and ate someone. He's like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they didn't have sex. I don't know.
Yeah. See, I don't think they did, because we know that they do later on.
Yeah.
But
yeah, fucking funny. And then this part made me laugh so hard. Whatever. Then to go, so he doesn't believe her, so she's gonna show him the body, and he's just like, do you have something I can wear? And then it like cuts through the woods, and he's wearing an orange dress, and you see his dick like sticking out of the dress.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's fucking funny.
There was another line during all that too. Where is it? Oh, he goes, I don't believe you. Dinosaurs never existed. And even if they did, I didn't transform into one.
So now Doug is going back to church because he's been missing confession.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in a confession box, and he's doing a confession with Frankie Mermaid for some reason. I don't know why Frankie is there.
Yeah.
He even says, like, I haven't done a confession in years. And this whole fucking back and forth was hilarious.
So, man, it's so funny.
Frankie has to confess. He's like, well, I haven't been here in 4 years, but I can say what I did in the past few days. He's like, let's see. I stole candy from a baby. Then I kicked the baby in the river so he couldn't snitch on me. And then he's like, oh yeah, I just, sell drugs. I'm a pimp. I kill people. And Doug is like questioning. He's like, oh, you've killed people? And he's like, yeah, like in the past few days, I kill people myself, hire people to kill people. And, just the other day, I killed some old people, blew up their car. And he's like, matter of fact, he was outside of this church.
He goes, yeah, and one of your buddies was standing on the front step going, oh, mom, my mom, my dad.
Yeah. And then Doug is like in the other side, and he's like convulsing and like making roar noises, and his like eyes are turning into like cat eyes for some reason. And then he starts like getting veiny, and then all of a sudden a fucking dino claw comes through the confession box. He grabs him, and then Doug's like, you killed my parents. And then Frankie's like, well, why don't you just kill me? And then he's like, don't mind if I do. And then just like cuts his neck open. Oh my god.
Fuck.
So ridiculous.
The cut effects were actually pretty good in this scene, though.
Yeah, they were not bad.
I was surprised.
Not bad. Then they have like some training montage between like him and Carol. I mean, Doug is pretty jacked up. He is got some muscles on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we get introduced to an even more ridiculous storyline. I don't know. Is this still in the US? I mean, it must be, right?
I guess, yeah.
So we meet Master Y Chan, who is a Christian drug lord. uh, in his drug peddling ninjas. He has a bunch of random Americans working for him. One of them named Sam, who we find out later on is Doug's brother.
Yeah.
And then like they're kind of talking about like their plan and stuff, and then all of a sudden like Sam they start laughing like
oh my god, man,
maniacal laugh, and then Sam, like the actor, like he's like not making any noises, but he's like ha 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 ha, and then just does like 5 or 6 more ridiculous laughs.
I think in that scene they were making fun of like old Asian cinema, where like probably. They would have like those weird ass like laughing tracks. But yeah, that whole laughing thing happens twice in the movie, and both times it's fucking hilarious.
It does, yeah. It's fucking funny. Yeah, Doug, like this whole time is reading books on dinos.
Oh my god, the one scene where he's reading, it's a book called Crime 2, and he's reading it in his room, and it's like a big book.
Yeah.
And then Father Stewart comes in, and he's like freaking out, like trying to grab his Bible, and he's like, and he finally gets the Bible, and the Bible's like this big, and the book he's trying to read is this big, and he puts the Bible over top of it.
Yeah.
Just doing some light reading.
Yeah. And he's like teaching Carol like about like Jesus and like who's who in the Bible, and like it's just so ridiculous.
She goes, I don't know much about God, and he's like, I don't know much about dinosaurs.
Yeah. So then Father Stewart, he is hiring a seance dude who does exorcism, whose name I think is Altair, yeah. And he goes into this story which I mean had literally nothing to do with anything. He starts out by saying, oh, this is the time I had to go back to Altair to hire him.
Yeah.
And like this whole scene is just like I don't get it. He's like, yeah, it was back in the war, and then like it flashbacks to Father Stewart, who's now Sergeant Stewart, with like his mustache, and he has like a wig on.
Yeah.
And I don't know what war it is, but he has a friend named Allie.
It was the Vietnam War.
Oh, Vietnam War.
Yeah.
He has a friend named Allie, and like they're like talking, and Allie's like smoking. He's like, so what do you have a gal back home or something like that? He pulls a picture. He's like, now this is Adeline. He's like, oh, it's a gorgeous lady you got there. And he goes on like, yeah, I just want to start a family, you know? And Allie's like, oh yeah, you could have 5 kids, maybe 11 kids. And you know what? Why don't you name one of them after me, your old war buddy, Allie? and then when he's older, you can tell him about your old war buddy, Allie, who smiles like this. And then like he smiles. His friend Allie, who never got shot once, it once in the war, but always had a smile on his face, and then gets shot and killed. And then the next scene, do you want to
oh my god, man. So yeah, he's obviously like mourning the death of his friend, and he's sitting there and he's looking at his picture of Adeline, and all of a sudden he hears what's his name? Like his first name. Anyways,
I forget, yeah.
Regardless, he hears his name being yelled. So he looks up, and Adeline is running through this forest, and they're supposed to be in fucking Vietnam. So she starts fucking running towards him, yelling his name, and he's like, Adeline, oh my god. And then she fucking just randomly blows up. There's blood splatters all over him, and he's just like standing there like this. And the 2 other guys that are with him, they just walk up. Well, not much we can do for her now.
Yeah.
Yep, she's all over the place. Must have been one of those Viet Cong trip mines. And then they go, what do you think she was doing in the forest? Well, I don't know. Probably just trying to make a family.
Yeah.
And they just walk away. It's like, what the fuck?
It was like the only time they used CGI in this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, it's like so ridiculous. Like, so then Father Stewart goes back to the US and joins whatever it's called, to be a priest again.
Yeah, like the monastery or something.
Yeah. Oh. So yeah, that whole scene was like, I don't even know.
Oh man, so funny.
So now they're having the seance at Stewart's house, and Altier is like doing some voodoo stuff, and Doug's like tied up, and then he starts like freaking out. Grows his dino paws, breaks the ropes, and then immediately pulls Stewart's eye out for some reason.
Yeah.
And then he escapes and like runs off, but he's like all like veiny and stuff. Mm-hmm. And Altier's like, oh my god, what have I done? Oh man. Then he ends up sleeping with Carol, I think. And they're kind of like boyfriend and girlfriend now. And then the ninjas just pop out of the window of their apartment and they beat the shit out of them. I guess Carol is like a ninja.
Right?
Now. Yeah.
This whole scene, I was like, where'd she learn how to fight? Like, is this all from that montage?
Yeah. And they kind of learn here about like the whole ninja group. I forget what they were called, but yeah, I wrote in my other notes.
Yeah, I don't have their name written down. It's Saint Atremius Academy is like what they're called. Oh man. So yeah, they make it to like their camp because one of the ninjas told them where it was. And basically their plan is they're making this special kind of cocaine. They're going to deal it to the town and like areas around the US. Yeah. And then they're going to stop producing the cocaine. So people start turning religious and joining their sacrilege, I guess. The most ridiculous plan. And then throughout the movie, you get like some flashbacks of like Doug at a breakfast table, like talking to his parents, and they're like, "Oh, we're so proud of you! Like, you're our only son." And then like they're in a car, and he's talking to his dad, and his dad's going on about like, this is a big decision of trying to be a priest. I just want you to know that I'm proud of you. And then he gets out, and the mom's like in the back seat, and she's like happy. Yeah.
And then Doug sees Sam. And he's like, oh my God, Sam, what are you doing here? And then like it flashes back to those scenes and you see Sam like in the background of those scenes. And then like Sam says like, oh, you're the only one who has God on your side or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. They end up killing Father Stewart. Yeah. He doesn't make it.
How did they kill him? I don't remember.
Yeah, I forget.
They stab him?
Maybe. Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember.
But what do you think of this final scene here?
Like the fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Carol goes back to her fucking kung fu ways, wherever she learned all that. And she's dressed in like this all black, like unitard sort of thing, and she's fucking ready to go. And we think that she ends up getting killed because the one guy like slices her across the chest, but like not enough to kill somebody.
Apparently not. No,
but I mean, it probably wouldn't have been even.
Probably not.
Like, it's not like it went into her heart or anything like that. It was just
Yeah.
like a slash across her chest. But,
but yeah, the scene, whenever Sam like comes in with like the sword and he like throws it in the ground, and like just the back and forth between them was like so bad, but so fucking funny.
Yeah. And we find out that that Doug's hands are immune to this anti-venom that they're using.
Yeah.
So like they try and like take the dinosaur gene out of him or whatever.
Yeah.
When he goes, oh, oops, I hit my mic. He says something like, oh, it didn't affect my hands. And he ends up killing them all with just his fucking claws.
Yeah. I love this scene whenever it's like fully like day and you see him like in the dino costume and there's just like ninjas jumping around and he's like hitting them with his head. You see like a big ass hump. And then he like ends up falling down, but then like obviously he can't get up on his own. So like they cut and then he's like back standing up and then like bites a guy in half and then like he's like running, and that scene you said when he gets shot, it does like this weird cut of like going back and forth between the dino and Doug, and like the face he's making was so fucking funny. But yeah, then he ends up killing Sam with the sword, and then he ends up just grabbing Wei Chan with his dino hands, ripping off his head, and there's like blood and guts come from the bottom, but you can tell it's like a mannequin head. And he's like screaming, and then like he puts it down and turns around. It's like a mannequin face, like these bushy ass like eyebrows and a Fu Manchu like glued onto it. Oh my god, it is so fucking funny.
Oh, it's great. And he just holds it up and just like starts laughing hysterically.
Yeah. And I guess Doug is a Jedi too, because when he kills Sam like throws the sword in the ground. And then like Doug is like, oh yeah, and the sword goes into his hand.
Oh, fuck.
So then now the next day he's at the hospital, and Carol she's okay.
She's fine.
But she's not just okay. Yeah, she's fine.
He goes, how are you? I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
And then
it comes up, she's fine.
Yeah. Are you fine? She's fine. Oh my god. Fucking ridiculous. And then it basically ends off, they're like sitting at the car. Doug has revoked his priesthood.
Yeah.
And then they're like talking about like, well, I guess they couldn't be the only ones like in this area, so there's probably some in Europe and Australia and around the world. And he's like, I guess I know what I got to do. And I guess they're going around the world to get rid of the cocaine ninjas.
Yeah, I'm honestly really surprised that there hasn't been a sequel to this.
Well, it's only been
4 years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe one day.
Maybe. Once he gets another $36,000 in the bank, he can make another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, anything else you wanted to mention or talk about?
I had some of the trivia.
All right.
That I thought was actually kind of cool. So after filming and before developing, the film was put into an oven and baked at 200 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes to achieve an aged look, which I thought was cool. Most of the scratches on the film were achieved by Brendan Steer dragging the unprocessed film along surfaces in his bathroom. The only room in his apartment was no windows and therefore dark enough to not expose the raw film. At 3 minutes and 57 seconds, the opening credits include a Laika Come Home production, which is a spoof of the 1943 feature film Lassie Come Home. Russian dog Laika was the first animal to orbit the Earth in a Soviet satellite. And during the flashback war sequence featuring Father Stewart, a quote on the shed behind him reads, "The world is full of kings and queens who blind your eyes and steal your dreams." This quote is from the Black Sabbath song Heaven and Hell.
Huh, that's cool.
Yeah. Just like the way that they did the film, like that shit with the film, I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Just to like add that effect without like touching the budget any more than they had to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some old school filmmaking.
Yeah. That's it?
Yep.
All right. Well, that's the way the blood splatters.
Man, Adeline's blood splatters.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for our reviews. You want to go first?
Sure. So I gave the story a 3 out of 10. This is turning into one of my favorite cult movies. You can't say this story isn't original. It sure as hell is. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yep.
I thought the writing was fantastic. Like a lot of the lines were fucking hilarious. Like I was dying at most of the lines. Quality, I gave a 2 out of 10. This is obviously a very low budget movie, under $50K. The acting is awful, but you can tell they're really going for it. The makeup and costume design is low. Especially the dino suit. I did think the score and the music was like actually pretty decent. So yeah, 3 and a 2.
All right.
But I mean, those are low scores, but I like this movie.
Yeah.
So
I actually, like I have a preface at the start of it. Like the ratings will reflect how I actually like really enjoyed the movie and had so much fun watching it. I actually have the same scores as you, just reversed.
Oh, okay.
So my story, I gave it a 2 out of 10. I said it was an absolutely ridiculous premise, but it was never meant to be taken seriously. This started off blah, blah, blah. We've already talked about that. A lot of fun was definitely had making this movie. And although it's terrible, it's an absolute riot to watch and a perfect movie to get drunk and stoned and watch with friends. Quality, I gave it a 3 out of 10. I said one of the worst movies visually, but again, it's not supposed to be a good movie. The team behind it knew that what they were making and they rolled with it. Obviously a shoestring budget, but they made do with what they had, even resorting to using script on screen to explain visual effects parts. The script was really funny, and honestly, some of the lines had me laughing out loud. The acting was terrible, but it did add to the charm. And I mentioned I really liked the soundtrack to it as well. It was like punk songs, but like ones I've never heard before.
Yeah, probably like Friends or something like that.
Yeah, like how Straight Edge Kicker had like Ugly Bones do theirs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a 2 out of 10 and a 3 out of 10 for me. But again, it's a very fun movie and you should watch it.
Yes, it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. It's got to be getting recognition now.
Definitely after this drops.
All right, you guys know our scores. Let's head on over to Rotten Tomatoes and see what they've scored it. There is no critics' consensus.
Okay, I didn't think so.
So you're going in blind, but I will give you a hint.
Okay.
The score is likely higher than what you expect it to be.
Okay. I'm going to say a 39.
60%.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Only 15 ratings.
Right.
But the average score was a 5.7 out of 10.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I was shocked,
Yeah.
to say the least. This movie has a fucking tomato on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's insane.
Blows my mind. But again, people can understand the comedic value of it, right?
Yeah. What's the audience score?
70%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. on 100 ratings and an average score of 3.9 out of 5.
Wow. Okay.
So like pretty high rating.
Yeah.
For this movie.
Yeah. Letterboxd is pretty close too. I
Yeah.
was surprised to see. So Letterboxd has a 3 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it has 2.8 thousand 5 stars.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has like, out of all the stars it could have, 5 is the most.
Wow.
But it's like sporadic. Like,
yeah. There's a lot of 1 stars on there too, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, like 2.8 and for 5, 2,000 for 3. Yeah, so pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You and me gave it the same score on Letterboxd, both a 3 out of 5, and we both liked this movie.
Yeah.
And none of our other friends have watched it, but hopefully that will change.
Really?
Or at least rated it.
Give me a sec here, because I know that I had a couple. Jazz from Girl That Scary podcast, she gave it a 3. Said it was a campy and ridiculous time. And Nathan from I Hope You Suffer podcast gave it a 4 out of 5.
Mm.
And there's one other one, but we don't know them. Yeah, I'm surprised actually that more of our people haven't watched it or rated it. But yeah.
Cool.
Fun movie. If you're listening or watching, check it out.
Yeah.
All right, man. You ready for the scare section?
I mean, we can call it a scare section if you want to. Yeah.
What did you give for a scare rating?
I give it a 0 out of 10.
Okay.
This is just pure comedy.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing scary. There's not really any gore, really. I mean, there is a little bit, but it's just all comedic.
Yeah.
Scariest scene, I mean, if I had to pick one, I said when he rips the head off at the end. I mean, it's just equally hilarious and I mean equally brutal, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then would I survive? Well, I'm not a drug peddling ninja, so yes.
Nice. Good stuff. I didn't know we could give it a 0 out of 10. So I gave it a 1 out of 10. Okay. But realistically, it's a 0.
Yeah.
I said too ridiculous and comedic to have any real horror value to it. Scary scene, I didn't even give one. Okay. Just because, I mean, what can you do, really?
Yeah.
Would you survive? I said, could anyone survive fighting a man in a dinosaur costume from Walmart?
I mean, yeah.
I don't know, man. He was pretty scary dinosaur.
He was.
All right. That's it.
That's it for the VelociPastor.
VelociPastor. Don't do drugs. Don't sell drugs. Don't join a ninja cartel.
No, don't do it.
Don't do it. Because this guy's coming after you.
Yeah.
Next week, we're going to be doing, obviously, another prehistoric type movie. A little more serious, though.
A little bit.
So, not only dinosaurs are considered prehistoric, so we're switching things up a little bit throughout the month. We're going to an alligator movie or crocodile. I can't remember. We were kind of both hemming and hawing on which one we could do because there's some good alligator crocodile horror movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going back to the late 90s, I think.
Yeah.
With Lake Placid.
Yes.
I just remember that Betty White's in that movie.
Yeah. Me too.
Queen Betty. But yeah, I'm excited. I love that movie. Well, I used to love that movie. I haven't watched it in so long. It could be terrible now.
But, yeah, I agree. Because like, yeah, like Crawl is good, but like that's
Mhm.
fairly recent. Like I've watched that probably in the past couple of years. So
Mhm.
I remember watching Primeval in the movie theater as well.
Really?
And that movie was not good from what I remember.
Yeah, I remember it being terrible.
Yeah.
You watched that in theaters?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, next week we're gonna be doing Lake Placid. I'm excited. I think it'll be a fun episode.
Too.
But anywho, if you guys want to catch us on social media, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube at A Podcast on Home Street. If you click the link in our bio on Instagram, you'll find links to our TeePublic account where we have our merch. And there's also a link to our Patreon account if you wish to support the podcast that way. There's also links to each of our individual Letterboxd accounts, our Discord server, our YouTube account, and anywhere that you can listen to us. So make sure you check those out. Please subscribe to our YouTube.
Yes.
Because we're having a lot of fun with it.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, man.
All right. Well, that's it for this week. We'll talk to you next week.
See you later.